seconds.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome back. Welcome here once again. Thanks for joining us for On the Pipe podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepherdson, and today is Wednesday, December the 6th, 2023, years after zero. Somehow, we're past Thanksgiving. We are almost to Christmas, which means almost to the new year, which means close to a new racing season getting underway. Unfortunately, there is no racing to be had. Nothing really going on. Actually, there's some Carolina XC races going on. We're going to talk about that in this show. We're gonna go down to South Carolina. Zach Hayes, former XC3 champion, been around the sport for a long time, pro rider, running that Carolina XC series. So we'll touch base on that. There's been a couple rounds that have happened down there, so there isn't no racing going on. There's just limited racing going on. We got some other stuff on the docket. We got some other stuff on the agenda, some things to talk about, some storylines to hit, and some things going on. And we're going to do it all with our good friend of the show, Craig Oberholzer. Big Rig Craig, welcome in once again, man. How's it going?
Good, man. Just came in to see you.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. You got your bike in the back of your truck. Why aren't you riding?
So it's not above 65 degrees. I just got it re-greased, and I don't have a good reason. I feel guilty now.
I thought you were an Ohio guy.
I am an Ohio guy, but I got to go back to work tonight, and I really don't want to go ride. We'll have to wash my bike and then leave for work. I really just, after we get in here, I'd like to hang out. I don't want to be rushed.
You know what's weird? And I just thought about this. So a big portion... I wouldn't say a big portion. A lot of listeners of OTP are in Illinois and Wisconsin. No idea why. But think about how damn cold it is up there right now.
Well, back in their mansion in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working. I was working in Raleigh for a while, and a lot of those guys are from Minnesota. Some of the contractors working with us.
Oh, Minnesota, don't
and
you know?
And I was like, so what are you guys gonna do? Like as soon as you get home, and every word they say is like either the F word or calling somebody whatever. And he's like, oh, we're going to go out on the lake and I go ice fishing for a couple hours, kill some old Milwaukee's best. And they're just all about it. They get hammered every night. And they said, yeah, that's how we keep warm. We just stay drunk. And I was like, holy crap, dude. Those guys are diehard.
Have you seen the, I guess they're not dirt bike guys, but have you seen the dirt bike ice riding setups?
I seen one, so yeah, I have. I seen one on Facebook yesterday where they're like pulling them like it's like you're skiing, like they're wearing skis and they're getting pulled by the dirt bikes, and there's like 7 riders out there, like a short track, and people are just getting hit.
Well, I just mean like the actual
on the lake, and they're like completely sideways, like wide open.
Yeah, they run like self-tapping screws through all the knobs and the tires and stuff.
Yeah, so I seen some of them, and I thought to myself, like, would I even dare? And the answer is absolutely not. I think there's a weight limit on it. I think I would go straight through the ice and freeze. It looks sick.
It looks like it'd be fun, but like I feel like even with studded tires and all that, like I don't know. I feel like you're gonna it'd be tough. It'd be tough to get the confidence up to go.
Yeah.
Try to lean it over on some ice.
We say this, and there's some 14-year-old kid in Minnesota right now on like a 95 KDX 200 wide slap open with self-tappers stuck in the tires. So all those guys are scared. Those guys are weak.
Imagine like the people that are in the north right now just cringing listening to us talk about this.
Sorry, boys. I'm not a snowbird no more. Ohio ain't really snowbird anyway.
No, not like up there.
No, that's just where meth's at.
Like Michigan. Which, speaking of Michigan, shout out Logan Densmore, just became a father. But yeah, he was telling me about them riding on the ice and all that stuff up there. And like, dude, I couldn't imagine.
No,
it'd be cool.
No.
What was I gonna say? I think it was Phil Samaji. They got like paralyzed and stuff with the accident, broken back and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the Dominican last year, which was this week, last year, keeps popping up on my memories, wishing I was down there instead of here. But anyway, he was telling me about like them ripping mini bikes and stuff on ice and putting studded tires on it. But he was saying like on mini bikes, because of his injuries and everything, like he said like mini bikes, he's still just as fast as everybody. He said that's what he enjoys riding the most because he can ride it as fast as he wants versus having to pull a big bike all around. But they're up in Wisconsin and riding on all that ice stuff.
You know, the most fun I think I've ever had, and I don't know if I've ever talked about this on here. In my hometown in Ohio, I had a friend named Donnie Henry, and he used to race back in the day a lot, and he was older whenever I met him. His daughter actually was my high school teacher. They had a old grocery store called Henry's. It's where Cardo's Pizza was. Cardo's Pizza in Jackson, Ohio is now. They used to be Henry's grocery store. Well, their house was up a block or two up, and it had a big warehouse behind it, and it was all hardwood. And there was pictures in there, and I'd heard about it before, but I went to go buy a CR125 off of them one day. Me and Dad go in there, and there's just like the sickest shit you ever seen in your life, like just old Moto memorabilia, all his helmets and stuff. And sadly, he's passed now. Super good dude. But we raced mini bikes in there, and they used to, like there was pictures of like XR75s coming through doorways. Like it was real tight, and it's like real old hardwood. But you walk in there still. Last time I went there and rode it, it's probably 7 years ago, right before he had passed away. And there was like 3 or 4 of us that had XR80s and XR100s, and we went in there and raced. That is some of the most fun I've ever had. And I broke both pinky fingers that day. But it's just, I don't know. It's just weird stuff like that. It's like you guys talking about going, riding on ice. Those guys riding mini bikes up north. Mm-hmm. That was the fun stuff we had to do, which I didn't get lucky enough to ride there a whole lot, probably 4 or 5 times. But like the pictures from back in the 80s of them doing it and then us doing it later on. And a buddy of mine had a Piranha 140 motor and an ATC 70.
Yeah.
And obviously you can imagine how that was racing slicks on it. Had like go-kart tires on it. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, it was terrible. But
sliding out, hitting
there's just so much cool
walls.
stuff. Yeah. Same thing with, we had a storage unit up in Ohio, and it was this one was massive. Concrete floors. We were renting it off the Amish when we moved from Ohio. We needed somewhere to keep some stuff until we got a garage down here. And we took 4 or 5 buddies into that big storage unit. It was like, dude, it was probably 7,000 square feet. Huge. And we raced mini bikes in there all day. It was sick.
Dang.
So much fun stuff to be had.
So I've seen that too, like even places around here, like the indoor go-karting facilities, will put like supermoto tires on mini bikes and race them.
It hurts.
Dude, that would be so much fun.
It hurts so bad. That one in the grocery store, there's like a tiny little, it raised up like 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet, so there's a little bit wooden ramp like that you would walk up. Mm-hmm. Well, we'd come in at an angle to go up there and loop back down because it was like a figure 8 kind of right there. People would hit each other. I remember one time my front wheel didn't make up on the ramp, and I just went straight into the ledge and just folded the bars on like an 82 XR100, just rolled all the way up to the wall.
Good times.
It's the best time. I wish nothing more in life to be able to do more stuff like that. Some of the funnest shit.
That's what we're pushing towards. Maybe one day OTP will have our own fantasy factory. We'll have
You got enough room in here. We could. I mean, if we moved a couple things, we could definitely have some PW50s in here just wide open.
So my goal is the people next door. They're never there. I've been here almost a year. I've seen that lady twice. So
what's next door?
It's a maternity boutique. They sell like pregnant women clothes. Someone else just moved in right next door to them, which is kind of annoying, but no, it'd be cool because this is actually one giant building, but then split up into 3 units. So I just want to overtake each one at a time. But if we had the whole building, we could have a little track in here.
There's no telling.
It'd be sick.
Yeah, it would be cool.
But anyway, so what's been new? What's up with you? Besides being too cold to ride.
Well, that's fair. I'll take that jab. Nothing much. Just been working. Been gone for quite a while, actually, trying to ride as much as I can, but only very minimum times. I went to North Carolina at the training grounds at McManus Mountain in Morganton. That was good. I got smoked in AA.
Oh, I keep forgetting. I have a video of your start.
I can't imagine it was great. You
Uh,
have a video of coffee going through the banner, or not the banner, but the
no,
ribbons?
I had the long lens on, so I have a video of you starting, and then Blaine Kimmery just getting the best of you.
okay. Go ahead, and just whatever.
Shout out
Hurt
Blaine.
my feelings. Not shout out Blaine.
I keep forgetting to show. Here it is. I know we're not doing this live on video, so it's tough for everybody else to see. But
Oh, that's
Blaino
About got
stole
smacked.
that thing from you.
yeah. I got it stole by a few people. I got like by the time we got to the grass track, I was like 8th. I think I ended up 7th.
Dude,
The play.
so that race,
The
along-
dustiest
yeah, that's what I was about to
race
say.
of my entire life.
Yeah,
I
so
couldn't see a daggone thing.
it got so dusty that I gave up. I was in the same spot the whole time. That was like the
I
first
know.
North Carolina race I ever been to.
Yeah.
I think it was the second, but wanted to go there because the whole championship battle between Evan Earl and Dustin Simpson.
Yeah.
Dustin Simpson ended up winning the championship, but the day before that is when I raced full gas, which was also dusty as hell in my first race back in forever, and hit my head pretty good. So then I go there to the North Carolina race on Sunday, just dust everywhere, head still hurting, just out of it. I was over it.
Dude, I was so butthurt, and this is my fault, but the last I probably rode 20 North Carolina races.
Ever?
Yeah, that's probably about it. I mean, I've never ran them as like a series. I've
Yeah.
been very sporadic. Usually they have a white flag or a 2-lap car. Like when you're coming in, they put it right in front of you to where you see it. So I
Yeah,
came
they
in.
didn't have a flagger at all.
So I thought that, and then they said they did, and it was off to the side. I didn't see it, so I came in. I looked at my watch, and I thought it was like the 2-hour mark, but I think it ended up being like I was like an hour and 30 minutes in. So I had my 2-lap time. I came in, and I was like, man, I'm kind of getting, I need to either go faster or I need to chill out because I'm gonna get tired if we have 3 or 4 more laps. Like I didn't realize how long the laps were. So that was actually the 2-lap time, a 2-lap car time. And then I went and I got passed by a couple of the A riders, and because I started slowing down because I was like, dude, I got 2 or 3 more laps left to go. I'm gonna be so tired. Came through, checkered flag. What the hell?
Yeah.
And I started like not raising hell or anything, but I was like talking to Blaine and Justin Griffin at the finish. I was like, hey, like, did you guys get? He said, we didn't even see it. None of them had seen it.
So
I guess a couple rounds prior, they started bringing it back. Maybe someone ran into the sign and it messed something up. I don't know. But I don't know why they would do that. But, I mean, whatever.
that's something I did not.
It's just me crying about it.
Because like they didn't have a flagger or anything, and then sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once, like Travis Kelce. They they didn't have a flagger. They had like a giant binder. It was like a flip board, and
That's
then
stupid.
someone would go over there and flip it. So there's like no flag or no person. There's just this giant binder.
Yeah.
And they just flipped the card over. 2 laps to go.
Yeah.
1 lap to go. And then even the check. So like Dustin won the overall championship. It was a battle that came down to the last round, and the only thing he got was a damn flipped over sign sitting right there. Like, there was no cheering. There was no flag. There was
Yeah.
it was just one of the most anticlimactic things I've ever seen.
Yeah, so I mean, and not that I would have done much better. Like I got towards the back in AA, which is I don't ride and I don't do anything. That's kind of what I expected. I don't care. That's where I expected to be. But you get 2 laps to go, and you don't know. Like usually, you get the 2-lap card. You're like, all right, drop the hammer. Like go, you use everything.
Yeah.
So I was on the white flag lap, and I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna drop a hammer with 2 more laps. Like I'm fat and lazy and out of shape. This is gonna suck. And I come through the finish line, and I was like, well, dang. I mean, I kind of wish I would have known, but I mean, that's also my fault. I mean, if it was right there to the side, that's my fault. That's not me crying about what they do. I just didn't know that they changed that. That's my fault. No big deal. Fun race. The track was sick. Had a great time. My air filter was... I threw it away afterwards, I'll be honest. Rough day.
I didn't get to talk to Chris much, but that's cool that they're like hosting races at his house.
Yeah, so it's his dad's property, and then the neighbor's property where all the grass track and the start was, all the fields, that's his neighbor's property. Then as soon as you get in the woods, all that's Chris's parents. But Chris, obviously. So Chris, whenever he first talked to John about that, he didn't really realize how much was going to go into it because they already had a pretty big loop there from when Chris was racing. So he spent like 10 or 11, 12 grand on everything. And I didn't ask him about the numbers, but he was like kind of explaining it to me, and I was like, wow. Like he spent like thousands of dollars worth of diesel fuel in the stinking skid steer, making the track. He had to pay the other landowner obviously for using the land for all the parking and everything area. And then at the end of the first race, he lost $3,000. At the end of the second one, they made that was actually they had a huge turnout. Like 1,200. I might be lying. 1,200 riders or something. It's huge.
That's a lot.
Because he said that John Jordan said 800 riders is their like sweet spot, and Chris is like, I break even at 800 riders. Let's hope we get more than that. And they said it was like 1,200 people through the gate. I think that's how that works. 1,200 people through the gate.
Oh.
That's how the landowner gets paid. So
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, sorry, dyslexic.
How does that work though? Because isn't North Carolina a nonprofit?
Yeah, I have questions. Yeah, I don't know why it is nonprofit.
And then they don't even like individual people host the races, right? Like almost like a club. Like Chris in this instance would be a club.
You make the track. They show up and put their tent up.
And they're a nonprofit. And landowners are losing money. How?
Yeah, I mean, Chris ended up making money on the second time, which Chris didn't make anything. Chris paid himself back for his stuff and gave all the money to his parents. That's what he wants it to be. Like that's a beautiful piece of property. It's a sweet motorcycle track. They have like a big horse barn that whenever his siblings that were younger, they like were bringing the horses and motorcycles. Obviously, beautiful horse barn. Like they wanted to make that like into a wedding venue, like kind of be like just income coming in.
Yeah.
And it's such a sick place. Like you've never been to Chris's house, have you? His parents' house?
No.
The view is wild. It's sick. Right there, I think it's Berkmont Mountain. I forget. It's right there by Bollinger's place. But it's a sick place. Yeah, I don't know if it's because they don't want to be AMA. I'm not sure what the rules are with that. Maybe if you're a nonprofit, you can't maybe if you're a part of the AMA, you can't be a nonprofit. I'm not sure. I don't see why. Then you got to pay the AMA, don't you? If you're an AMA series, don't you have to pay the AMA for each?
Yeah, you pay like a sanctioning fee. And then you can like broker their insurance and stuff through them.
Yeah, it sounds like a scam to me. I wouldn't want to be a part of the AMA.
Yeah. Pros and cons, just like everything, I guess. But
yeah,
no, it was just cool to see him back there. Maybe we'll see the resurgence, the return of Chris McManus racing at some point.
Yeah, dude, he's still the couple times I rode with him. It was cool. Like I outran him like 2 North Carolinas, and then now he did lap times after the first North Carolina he had, and he did like 2 lap sprints to see like his lap times because he used to be super quick.
Yeah,
he rode A Lights, was top 3 guy most of the time.
Yeah.
Had some issues. The Hondas are slow, whatever. He went back and did lap times like to see how he did against like the pro class North Carolina, and he put down a faster lap than Skinny.
Really?
His lap time, yeah, like they were out there with timers and they did it and they set everything up like it was. Or it was the day after, I think.
He cut some corners.
He probably did. He lied.
Less dust.
He said it was
Not
like a
dealing with
second.
dust.
He said it was like a second, but Chris has rode there since he was 3, so
Yeah, knows every corner.
exactly.
No one in front of him
And for
kicking
one
dust
lap,
up.
he can't get tired.
Not dealing with
not going
lappers.
to.
Not one lapper the whole entire time.
Yeah, but he was proud. I don't blame him.
I
I'd
would
be real
be
proud
too,
too.
but just see some holes in it. But imagine Braxton McGee, we get him back. We get Chris McManus back. We got Blaine Kimmery back. Who else do we need?
The South will rise again, boys.
Yeah, we'll get them all back. Connor Smith, get him out there, throw him in the mix.
He's scared. He's scared. That is the biggest. Good buddies with Connor. Always good buddies with Connor. Connor, I hope you hear this. You're the biggest waste of talent I've ever seen in my entire life. Dude would go race GNCC. He's got a top amateur. Go home, not do a damn thing. I'd go to the gym because I was trying to race then, and I was fat, and I was trying to stay in shape. And I got in decent shape. That was in 2019. Like the best shape I'd ever been in. He would go there and just Snapchat chicks like when he's on the bike, like not even nothing. Would not break a sweat. Well, we got to stay here a little bit longer so Dad thinks I worked out. And so at the end of the year, so at the beginning of the year, he had I guess this would have been 18 whenever this was happening. He had a 2018 Husky 450.
I remember it.
At the end of the year, with all the full gas races, all the GNCCs, and all the locals he ran, they ballparked it that he had 80 hours on the bike at the end of the year, like racing. He had 84 hours on this bike at the end of the year after everything. 4 hours of not racing, which arguably could have been us having parties at his house and revving it in the middle of the night.
Warming it up.
Warming it up. Yeah, warming up the whole house. Like, dude.
I think we
was
did it
so good.
in his basement the year that we did the birthday podcast.
Did what?
The birthday OTP.
Oh, yeah, around the table.
Yeah. I think the bike got cranked up and fired up that night.
I think it was Trevor. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, I hate him so much. He was so good. And like all these other guys, that was when Bryce Coster was racing. Bryce, Ben Parsons. There was a couple other guys that were real fast in that class. I forget who it was. Eric Geese was over here.
Like the bird?
Yeah. Just like the plane. He was so good. I got videos on my phone like I took of him and Braxton in 2018. And I could never even try to go that fast. Like, he jumped behind Trevor like 2 years ago at Motivated, HRD, whatever the hell it's called. And
Masters.
I think he passed him.
Really? Connor?
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, past Trevor Barrett. Don't quote me on that. Trevor, I might have lied. I'm not sure. He was right behind him or past him. Who's that? Let me talk to him.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
Oh. He's shout out Ash Brewer. He's calling me right now. This is proof that we're recording the show. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call him back. We've been playing phone tag.
Rude.
But yeah, it's weird to think about the glory days and how everything is now and goes now. But one of the things that's going on now is all of the changes. Silly season is obviously a time of the year that everyone, I don't know if you want to say looks forward to. I guess looks forward to because there's a lot of changes and stuff going on. We did our silly season show the last episode with Big Tom, and now since it's December 1st, we're seeing a lot of these things come out. We're seeing the team announcements. We're seeing the team goodbyes. I don't think all the teams have been announced. I think there are still some people out there that don't have rides that are waiting to figure things out. But of all the things that have come out and become official, what's been your biggest surprise so far?
I don't know what all's not a secret anymore, so it's kind of hard to
talking.
talking.
I think most stuff is out. I will say, I think so far we're batting 1,000, 100, however batting works.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone post anything, so I almost feel like kind of weird to start talking.
All the Austrian brands have. They posted all
Has
their
Beta?
teams. Beta has not. They haven't posted anything.
I mean, I think they got Johnny, Jay Lipscomb in
XC2.
XC2. What's that other boy's name?
Jack Walker.
Yeah, Jacques.
He's racing
Jack
XC3.
Yeah.
Jack Jahk, I think is how he spells his name.
Evan Smith is no longer with them, but I think he will be an XC1.
Correct. From what I know. From what sources have said. By the way, Beta Motorcycles is the official manufacturer of On the Pipe Podcast. BetaUSA.com. Find out more about their available models, how to get one. You know what I mean?
Shout out Aston.
Shout out Aston. Shout out Andy. Shout out Kurt. Shout out Rob.
Hey, I will talk them up right now. First off, they're the coolest people at the races. Every time I see them, they're like, hey, what's going on? It doesn't matter if I'm biking or if I'm drinking. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. The first ones, we went to the Enduro Engineering Ride Day in like August.
Yeah.
And Andy was there. I think they had betas over there, like the demo.
Mm-hmm.
And
the one in Indiana?
Yeah. So the demo track itself was real small, and I didn't really like it. But I was like, hey, Andy, can I ride that 480? Yeah. He said, I'll take it. I took that thing for like an hour. And it was sick. And it had, I'm pretty sure the suspension on it was set up for riding on the road because it was very soft. And, I mean, I don't think I'm that much heavier than Andy. And it was very soft.
I think you did say that, actually.
It was super soft. And I hit a cornfield. I was running like 95. I was like full tuck. And I felt like I was on the highway. Hit like the smallest bump. And I thought I was going to die. It was cool. That bike is sick though. Big fan of the 480. A
and
little heavy,
everyone-
but it was good.
Everyone gave me shit about pulling off an Ironman, but I was riding a bone stock 250.
I'm gonna give you all of
Regular,
the crap. You had
not
my
race-
goggles on, bud. You had all you needed.
Not race edition,
What do you need a race edition for?
on stock suspension, and I am not.
They're ready to race.
I am not in that weight class.
They're ready to race.
That's the wrong brand, sir.
What do they call rideability?
Yeah, premium rideability,
Premium.
and premium quality. That does not mean that it is sprung from the factory for a 210-pound fella.
Speaking of Logan, when he was obviously there, his sounds sick. I was riding behind him when we were just
His
we
looks
were all
pretty
cruising.
sick too.
Yeah, those things sound so good. It's like the John Johnson videos. Those
They-
things sound so sick.
They ride so good too, and like the stuff that comes with the KYB stuff, that's obviously way more manageable, but the sack stuff, it's great for riding technical stuff. Like if you're just riding, like going to Brown Mountain, or
Yeah.
you're riding like trail riding. Because I ride that 250 to go film stuff at GNCCs, loved it, never had an issue with it. The first moment I tried to push and like ride, I'm not gonna say fast because it's me, but ride my version of fast on like that track that's already a little bit beat up and rough. Dude, it just bottomed out everywhere. I was wanting to like go over the bars, but I mean that has nothing to do with the bike. I mean that's suspension.
Yeah, you just got
Everyone,
to set it up for yourself.
yeah. So
Um,
that was the only thing that I ran into. But then every time I tried to like push, I'd get a little huckabuck and almost die, and wasn't good.
Yeah.
But like I said, riding that bike around, like when I'm just cruising, like riding trail and filming and stuff, dude, I've never had more fun on a bike. And that
Yeah.
thing, I swear to God, could climb a brick wall with the right tires.
Dude, there's something about 250 and 302 strokes going to ride in like deep woods, like just hitting hills, going to Brown on like the right bike.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah. Or even like, so I'm at the point in life, I love riding dirt bikes. Very much enjoy riding dirt bikes. I'm kind of over trying to ride dirt bikes as fast as I can go. Because one, I know that I'm not making anything out of racing on a bike behind the lens talking. That's a different thing. But, and I don't know. I could be wrong. There's a lot of people that, I mean, you get such in the grind of training and riding and racing and stuff that becomes fun and challenging in itself.
Yeah.
But just riding at like a comfortable pace, like cruising, just standing up and like going with the flow and hitting little bumps and trying to like double braking bumps and all that kind of, I feel like that is so much more fun than trying to ride as fast as you possibly can at all times.
Yeah, for me, like I don't. I'm trying to see how to word this and not sound like an idiot. There's a lot of work that goes into going and feeling really good on a motorcycle,
Yeah.
and like it's a lot of work. Like you have to not eat 2 sausage biscuits on the way to the track, which is something that I have struggled with in the past. I love them so much. It's just like you have to ride a little bit during the week. For myself, I have to ride a couple of days a week. Like it's got to be summer. I have to be not working, a bunch of hours. I have to be on the bike pretty consistent, and then I feel really good. And I have, good finishes. Like I could, be top 5 guy in double A like North Carolina, which is my version of the best I can be. But just coming off the couch and going and riding, I can, for myself, feel really good. And then it's just like you lose it. Like it's almost like I lose if I don't ride like during the week, or if I am not like consistent, I lose balance so quick. Like I'm just not 22 anymore.
Yeah.
Not that I was fast when I was 22. I just could just go and do it. There's just so much that goes into it. Like these guys, it's just like getting hurt and then people being off for a while. Well, it's because you haven't touched a bike. Like no crap, you're not going to feel right.
Yeah.
I got a buddy, Trip Sherrill. You know Trip.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go ride at a place in Gastonia here. And Trip's a good rider. And if Trip rode, he would be way better than I am. But he doesn't ride. He just has 2 nice bikes, and he'll just take them out every once in a while. So we'll go over there and ride. And he'll be mad. He'll be like, man, I feel like shit. I'm like, yeah, no crap you feel like shit. You've been shooting ducks all summer long in your mind, and now it's finally duck season. And that's all you've been doing.
Wabbit season.
Wabbit season. And then we'll go ride in January, and he'll be like, man, I feel like ass. Yeah, no crap you feel terrible.
Yeah.
Because you've been riding the couch. You've been drinking sun drops and cookouts.
And see, that's the big thing that I realized in racing full gas, and I wouldn't say racing Ironman. When I lined up to Ironman, I knew before I started I was just doing a lap.
Yeah. Oh.
like I knew I wasn't going to be competitive, and I wasn't going to try to go balls to the wall for an industry class, especially when I had to turn around and ride for 3 hours that afternoon to go film the pro race.
Yeah.
So, like, in my mind, it was pretty much always one and done, unless I was just having a lot of fun. But the one thing that I did notice is those times where I did try to sprint. Like, I could feel the fatigue and, like, my back and my shoulder stuff hurting. And when I was racing, what got me by was those last 2 laps. Like, the back half of the race is where I made up all my time because of, like, wrestling my whole life and, like, that kind of mental side of it. And then also that base cardio and that base physical ability that I had carried me through everything. Like, I started riding way too late. I didn't ride dirt bikes till I was 21 years old. And so having the raw bike speed, like, basically the opposite of Connor Smith. Like, I didn't have the raw talent riding a bike. Like, I can do all sorts of stuff and I can kind of adapt to whatever I'm doing, but I didn't grow up on a bike. Like, I didn't have the raw bike speed, so I made up for all of that with just mental grit. And you look at my lap times, and every single lap was faster, faster, faster.
Yeah.
And the one thing I noticed is, actually 2 days ago was the 2-year anniversary of me snapping my leg in half. But right before that, I had shoulder surgery, and then all the National Enduro and Full Gas stuff came, and I sold all my bikes, and I didn't ride all that year. And then I broke my leg, and I haven't rode for 2 years. So that was the one thing that I noticed is, like, this is the longest spurt that I've ever had of not competing in something in my entire 31 years of living. And that was the main thing that I noticed while riding at Full Gas and at Indiana's. That was my first time trying to race in 3 years. Like, not just play ride, but actually push. And dude, it's like I felt it all just go out of me. Like, I couldn't like break through that wall, which is typically what has gotten me by on a dirt bike.
Yeah. When are you gonna race again? Are you gonna race some next year? You gonna try to anyway?
I would love to, but I mean, I wanted to. I talked with Zach a little bit, and I wanted to do the Carolina XC series.
Yeah, I did too. I got called into work.
Yeah. So first round, what happened first round? First round, I had to go somewhere. I was somewhere.
You were in Florida, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in Florida for Thanksgiving. Yeah, so first round, I was in Florida for Thanksgiving. Last round, it was 2 rounds. I was in Pennsylvania in Pittsburgh for a wedding. And, I mean, that's already 3 rounds gone. I'm going out of the country next week, so I'm not going to be able to hit the next 2, I think. So I wanted to race Carolina XC over the winter, but next year, man, I would love nothing more than to be able to race. But the problem is between covering GNCC and then announcing Mid-East and whatever else and other series may come, what I'm getting at is, like, all my weekends are booked working races. Like, there's nothing I would love more than to get back on that grind of racing and challenging myself and pushing myself. But I just don't have time.
Yeah.
Which sucks because now all the schedules have come out, and it's like I'm looking at it. Well, I guess GNCC schedule isn't public.
I haven't seen it.
But they're banquets this weekend, so it'll be out this weekend.
Yeah.
I have the GNCC schedule and GNCC dates. But just between that, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at my calendar, and it's full. So, I don't know. I would love to race. Long answer to a short question, but
yeah, same.
I just don't know. Like, obviously, it'd be cool to race GNCCs, but I got way more going for me with what I'm doing there than
GNCCs suck.
Than if I was out there racing.
So bad.
I wish there was a B or an A class in the morning race that wasn't sportsman, because I don't want to go through all of that to get nothing. And, like, sportsman stuff, it's fun, but it's just non-points paying.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun not caring.
Yeah,
that's so much fun. What else? What do you have? You know more than I do, probably.
So, to the silly season stuff, and I have seen comments about people out there saying, and I wanted to address this, of there's been some criticism, once again, happens every year, but like in every sport, we'll get that in a second, but seen some stuff of not releasing stuff before it's released by the teams and blah, 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 let the riders make the announcements. If the riders had their say, they would announce it as soon as they found out about it. It's the teams that have to push everything, and that's for, like, sponsor contracts and like the political side of it, the paperwork side of it. So I don't think any riders are really getting upset, hopefully not, about this kind of stuff. I think it's more so on the teams that want to push it down the line just because of the contracts they have with other companies and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, you look at NFL, NBA, MLB players, half of them people find out they've been traded by the media before they're even told.
Yeah.
And you look at Pulp or whoever else is doing it and announcing the Supercross stuff, like that stuff all comes out too. So, I don't know. In my mind, right now, this is a lull. This is a downtime. And if we weren't talking about it and bringing light to all these riders about what they've earned, what they deserve, what riders are still available, all that kind of stuff, then no one would be talking about them. So in my mind, keeping them in the spotlight and keeping this stuff going and keeping the pot stirred and keeping people engaged and interested in the sport, in my opinion, is never going to be a bad thing.
I agree.
Because otherwise, November to February, no one would hear about any of these riders or anything that they accomplished or anything that they can accomplish. So that is kind of my stance on that. I think I get some of that blowback because this is such a new concept in the sport.
Yeah.
Like no one's ever done it until now.
Yeah, I don't think the riders care at all. Like, we know 90% of them.
I had
And-
one rider get upset last year.
Who?
I think I've talked about it on the show. We have since talked, and I think we're all good.
I don't remember who changed last year, so it'll be all right.
It was someone who changed and won a championship. Shout out Liam Draper, your XC2 and Pro 2 champion. He did. I don't know if he really got mad as much as he was just like, I don't know. That
Hey,
the
don't
silly
do that.
season one I did. He didn't even say that. It was just like,
Was it on Instagram he said something? Is that what it was?
yeah, he shot me a message about it.
Oh.
And we talked about it a little bit. But I kind of explained the same thing, and I think he saw my point and my perspective. The big one last year was Zacho, which
I forgot.
I legitimately, the first time I ever said that, I said it like as a joke. Like, hey, I heard Zacho is going to race for Ampro. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then the next day, I get a ton of phone calls and texts saying, why did you release that? Why did you say something about that? Why are you telling everyone about that? And so it was at that point I
Holy
knew.
crap, it was real.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I didn't know it was real
Sorry.
until that. I was like, dude, I said it because it sounded so crazy that I thought there was no way it was true.
That was an interesting move.
No.
Get rid of Rick to get Zacho. No, Rick, sorry.
No.
Who was on there?
It was Stu, but I don't
Stu
think that had
left.
anything to do with it. Lane Michael.
Yeah.
They kicked Lane Michael to the curb,
That's yeah.
cut his contract, said, get out of town.
Yeah, it's, in my mind, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Pay Zach a bunch of money. I mean, Zach deserves a lot of money, but just not. Didn't have the best year.
I did not expect this year to go the way that it did for Zach Osborne.
I didn't either, especially, like, obviously I didn't think he was going to get hurt at the beginning of the year. Like, those guys always get hurt, like, in Supercross training because Supercross is so, like, meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't expect them to, because, I mean, the tracks he was probably riding in Florida, getting ready for Woods. It's just like watching, like,
No, he got hurt up here at Randy's.
in the woods at
Yeah.
Randy's. Still, like,
See, I told
like,
you you don't listen to the show.
Shut up. What I was saying, I was just telling someone this the other day. Like, you know how if you're racing at Antioch, you know what I'm saying, in the Mideast,
Yeah.
the infield, how slick it is? Like, for a normal, like, B or A rider, a lot of them can, like, slide out and, like, eat crap. Just different body positioning. And I was telling someone the other day, I was like, dude, you put, like, Eli Tomac or somebody on a turn track, he's never going to wreck. So I thought, whenever, like, Zacho came up here and was, like, training in the woods and stuff, I don't know why, but I was like, he's going to be, like, he's not going to get hurt. He's going to be mint.
Mm-hmm.
And he got hurt, like, a week later. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah.
And at first, I thought that was like the main reason why he might not have been having the success. But then he got healthier and healthier, and still,
He should have been fast as crap at sprints, though. Did he? I mean, the first sprint he was at, he was ripping.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, and that was before he got hurt.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
But then, like even him racing FTR, like I'm pretty sure Jesse Ansley beat him at FTR
Yeah. But Jesse's,
before that.
fair enough, but Jesse's freaking nasty at FTR.
Yeah,
Beginning of the year, beginning of 23, I think, like, Rick and a couple other guys were down there. And Jesse outran all of them.
yeah,
Pretty cool.
yeah. No, for sure. And I guess it's also worth noting in this is that Zacho has now came out because it's been up in the air, and I think we even talked about it on the Silly Season show, but it was up in the air of what he was going to do because he signed a 2-year deal, and the plan was XC2 and then XC1. So like now it's been what's he going to do, where's he going to go, and it has now came out that he is not going to race GNCC at all next year.
Yeah.
So
That sucks.
I wonder if that came from like pressure or it came from himself or.
I don't know. I mean, the comment he made on his Instagram, I believe, is like he's not going to move his family for another 2 years minimum to come up here. Because this is kind of where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's like one of the fastest motocross racers. You know, he's had Supercross wins. He's had a bunch of motocross wins.
450 Pro champ.
Yeah, sick. Florida's a killer place for that. It's not a great place to be a GNCC champion.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and for Florida, for the staying in shape in the wintertime.
Well,
But then you want to be up in the clay. You want to be up in the hills. You want to go to Pennsylvania. You want to go to Ohio. And he doesn't. I mean, I don't blame him. How old is he? 33? 32?
something like that.
Why, you know.
But then, like, building supercross tracks and building motocross tracks, they're bringing clay in. And they're building the tracks out of clay. And so they're training down there in the heat and the humidity, but they're training on clay tracks.
Yeah.
That's clay they brought in. You can't lay out a damn 6-mile clay loop in the woods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're riding sand.
So I don't blame a guy like that who can make probably more money being an industry guy rather than what he was getting in Ampro. Because he was getting good money in Ampro. But, I mean, for who he is, he could make a bunch of money doing other things, riding on his own terms if he still wants to ride, and going home every night. You know, I don't blame him. Who wants to move their wife and kid to go make, you know, quarter of what he made racing outdoors?
But at the same time, from things that I have heard, he was the highest paid off-road rider.
Still a quarter of what he was making. How much do you think he made the year he won the outdoor title?
$1 billion. I don't know.
$1 billion.
I have
Probably
no
$2 million that year.
Probably a lot.
Like, what the heck? Why would I want to go eat crap in the trees
When you see
whenever I have that money?
Jet buying multiple damn Ferraris and Lambos and whatever else,
Yeah.
I think them boys are doing all right.
Yeah, they're doing fine.
I wonder what Craig DeLong spent his championship bonus on.
I don't know. Probably got KB some nails done and got himself a Tundra or something. I don't know.
Do you think he got Tundra money for a championship bonus?
No.
That's the crazy part.
No, I don't. I mean, I have an idea of what they get. I think they get $30,000 for a championship bonus. I think that's what it is.
I mean, I wasn't gonna throw it out there.
I mean, no, that's just.
That's
I
what-
mean, I
that's
thought
what
that
I've
was
always
common
heard.
knowledge. I mean, I didn't know what his contract says. I just know like guys in the past they got $30,000.
Yeah.
Like that was like a Husky thing. I thought Husky gas KTM. Like I don't know what Craig got, but I thought it was $30,000. Like I know, like EnduroCross champion, hard enduro champion, like Tristan Hart. I think that's $30,000. I think that's what they get.
yeah,
So I mean that's good money, but it's really $17,000 because you got taxes.
yeah.
So kind of sucks.
And does that get paid out from their home base in California? Because then you're taking out a lot more taxes.
Yeah, dude, California sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, they built like a I don't know how many $1 million facility. Probably $100 million. I'm not
lot.
good with this. $100 million, let's say.
I don't know.
Let's just call it that.
It's a lot.
And there's
It's
still
big.
spiders
It's
in
nice.
that place.
Spiders.
Spiders.
What do you mean?
I got a buddy that works
Like arachnids?
no, just Brandon Krause.
Yeah.
He sends me Snapchats. He's sitting there working, and there's just a freaking spider cruising by, and he's like, "Man, all this money on this building,
Dang.
still got spiders."
See, and I didn't mean for this to turn into a money show, but now you're throwing people's personal numbers out there.
I
I'm just kidding.
didn't throw anything personal, nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what his bonus is, but I have always heard traditionally in the past that it is somewhere around that.
So no, not Tundra money.
But that's also the annoying part when you look at like SMX was 3 races for $1 million, and that's just the purse.
Yeah, but
That's not sponsor payouts or bonuses or anything. That's just the purse.
do you think if
And the same people running SMX are the same people running the premier off-road championship in the world.
do you think if
Very well. They run it very well.
Caleb Russell, Stu Baylor, Josh Tother, Ben Kelly only raced Moto their whole life, would they be the fastest guys in Moto right now? Do you think Eli Tomac, Ryan Dungey, those guys, if they were in the woods the whole time and not Moto, do you think they would have just absolutely cleaned freaking house?
No.
You don't think if it was swapped, do you think either one? I mean, do you think if? So first off, I'll ask this. This is the same thing I said. The fastest guys that have ever really rode GNCC,
Mm-hmm.
if they would have never raced GNCC and just raced Moto, do you think they would be making all that money, or do you think they would be, not mediocre, but just pro level? Like I mean, Josh Toth, he qualified and got 20th at an outdoor and had raced like 3 motocross races in his life. He's just a really good rider, though. I mean, do you think if those guys had only ever raced moto, that's what they'd be doing? They'd be making the millions?
I think,
It's a weird question.
I don't know. Because, I mean, there's also a lot that goes into that. Because all of them dudes are fast on moto.
Yeah.
And I wish that this question could be answered, and I'm so disappointed
I mean, we have Ryan Sipes.
that Caleb's stint went the way that it went.
Yeah,
Because Caleb was the guy that could have proved all of this, and he's the guy that could have made it all happen. And Caleb was the guy that when he went out and raced the first ones to try it out at Unadilla, he was running the top 3 the whole damn race.
Yeah.
And he was about to podium in the 450 class in his first race, and then he ended up having a crash and blowing out a shoulder and had to miss the next couple rounds he was going to do that year. Fast forward a year later, he went and made the decision to retire from off-road and go get an opportunity to race motocross. But then he
Got
ran through a
shafted.
fence and broke his whole face and broke whatever else before the season. So then he was recovering from that, and he was racing the 250 class where he wasn't used to that 250 bike. I think Caleb would have had a much better chance in the 450 class than he would the 250 class. And it sucks that that rug got pulled out from under him as quick as it did, being that he was coming off an injury and all of that kind of stuff. Because I think Caleb on a year in the 450 class would have done better comparatively than Eli with a year at GNCC. You know what I mean? Like, I think Caleb would have, with the percentages of people,
Yeah.
Caleb would have been higher up in 450 motocross than Eli would be in GNCC, I think. And you can use the Caleb thing. Well, he went to there and he raced 250 and he sucked. I don't think he sucked, but that's what people would say. But then Zach Osborne's a 450 pro motocross champion.
Mm-hmm.
And look what he did this year when he came to GNCC. And it was the same kind of thing. He had been retired. Caleb had been retired. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of hard because those are the two outliers. You have the greatest woods racer that went to Moto, and you have a 450 motocross champion that went to GNCC. And neither one of them did great.
Yeah, that's like, is it Justin Sterling? Raced
Starling,
Ironman. Starling.
yeah.
Sorry, Justin. Raced Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's made like 2 posts about it, and like I've seen him comment on a couple guys' posts. Like, you guys are freaking rowdy.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was so rough. It was so, those guys are actually like pretty sick.
And he took that thing seriously, too. Like,
Yeah. So I don't know if that's who it was. I met a guy that was out at the concert, and I mean, I was getting ready to go back to the hotel Saturday night, and I was talking to this guy, and he said he's from like Pennsylvania, and he was racing XC1. I don't think that was Justin Starling. This guy was kind of like not pudgy, but I mean, he wasn't. He was just a bigger guy. I think Justin, he was smaller, right?
no, he's tall.
Is he? But he's like a bigger guy, like just not built like he's riding 250s. He ride 450s. This guy does not look like he was going to run 250s.
This Justin was big.
Yeah, because I
Not
sat
like
there and
fat,
talked.
but-
Yeah, but just big.
Tall, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to a guy, and he said he was running. He's rode some professional moto, and he was racing XC1, and I was like, wow, good luck.
There was a couple random guys in
I
the
don't.
pro
Yeah,
class.
I don't know which one it was. I didn't get his name. I sat there. He started talking to me like we knew each other, and I thought we did. I think he's just a social butterfly like myself, and we were just sitting there talking. I was like, all right, man, good luck tomorrow. I was like, what class you running? XC1. I was like, oh, have fun.
So
I'm not sure. I thought he said he was from Pennsylvania.
there was Felipe Cheney from Canada,
Yeah, that wasn't him.
Trevor Aaron Bollinger.
I
I don't know why his middle name is listed.
Yeah, probably not him.
The only one. So yeah, that narrows it down. You either met Felipe Cheney or Justin Starling.
Or he lied.
Justin Starling had a pointy ring finger, or a ring on his pointy finger.
I wasn't looking at his hands.
Stuff like that skeeves me out. It's like the first thing I notice. Sorry. Very nice guy. Talked to him about coming on the show. We will do a show with Justin Starling at some point. But I don't like when people wear rings on their pointy fingers or thumbs or pinkies.
I don't think. No, this wasn't him.
Kind of a
That
weird
guy lied
flaw.
to me. Whoever that was lied. That's not him.
That's Justin Starling.
That is Justin Starling. That is not the guy I talked to. So whoever I talked to, liar.
See, it's one of those things that'll always be the great debate until we see one of the best do it. Maybe we'll see AP come over, and then we'll be able to see. That's always been the rumor, is that he'll come over afterwards. His dad, GNCC legend, Plessinger, some success in XC2 and
I've
youth
seen him
ranks
win
before. But I mean, you look at Ryan Sipes. That was a guy you briefly brought up, but like he wasn't a championship guy in Supercross and Motocross.
He wasn't. I don't know how he was back in the day.
I don't even think he won a main event. I think he won a World Supercross main event, but not like a FIM Supercross main event. And he was the first American in 100 years to win the ISDE overall. And he only won one GNCC, and I say only. A lot of people have gone their whole entire career and not won a GNCC. So that is not like Jordan Ashburn just won his first race last year.
Josh Toth won one.
Josh Toth, according to my record books, won a race. But I mean, that's another thing. Like Josh could go down in history as never having an official race win, which makes that situation that he got into all that much more worse if he doesn't go get a win at some point in his career. But what I'm getting at is Ryan Sipes won one race, but he had success in off-road. He won the ISDE. Nobody ever did that before him, and only one American has done it since then.
Yeah.
So I think it does determine a lot about the rider and how they adapt and how they approach it. And I mean, Ryan Sipes is one of the most, I don't know how to say it, like thoughtful rider that I've ever seen. Like the stuff that he does on a motorcycle doesn't compare to anybody else. Like watching him at the Sprint Enduros, the only reason that Ryan Sipes isn't a 3-time Sprint Enduro champion, like full gas when full gas was full gas, is because he didn't want to.
Yeah.
Every race except for like one that I can think of that he showed up to, he won.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the year, he's like, oh, yeah, I got to go do the Team Puerto Rico announcement at Unadilla, so I got to miss full gas, and then he's out of the points. I got to go race a flat track somewhere for Red Bull, and then he's out of the points. Like, that's the only reason he didn't win multiple Sprint Enduro championships.
Yeah.
But it's like, you see how he translates into off-road, and then how other people that have swapped and gone back and forth. And I don't know. I mean, another big thing, like, I just saw Cole Forbes. Cole Forbes has been like big-time off-road guy, had a KTM deal, all this stuff, and he just announced that he's leaving off-road to race Moto full-time. So I wonder how that's going to work out.
I don't know. He's a good rider.
Good rider. I didn't see how he did it at Minios. Did you?
No, I didn't even know he was there.
He made his announcement that he's leaving the off-road support program and racing Moto with the aspirations to race Supercross.
I think he was kind of losing that off-road
right
support
before
program. I mean, he was on Trail Jesters, right?
Was it?
So on KTM, and it was an XC, or it was a 250A deal, and that was the only support they had. So yeah, it was because DC was his mechanic.
Yeah, I don't know.
So he was kind of losing. I mean,
but I know he's been hurt and he hadn't been racing. And
yeah,
that kid. Maybe I should keep my comments to myself. What?
Yeah,
Why are you shaking your head?
Nice guy.
I think we've talked about it on the show before, but sometimes, and I'm not saying this relates to Cole's situation, parents can put an insane amount of pressure on kids.
Dude, okay.
And I think that does the opposite of what you think it's going to do.
When I drove the KTM semi to Ironman, I was there on a Wednesday. Cole's dad was there Wednesday morning. Like, I was the first day I was there.
Yeah. I don't want to go down
He
this
was
rabbit
there.
hole. I could say a lot. I mean,
man, what you guys already? I mean, they were there. I was like, man, these people ain't got jobs. Holy shit!
Dealing with them,
at
full gas and seeing stuff at GNCC, like, I don't want to get in. His dad's a really good guy. Always been great to me, but it's the same thing. Like growing up, like wrestlers' parents, like they do the same thing.
Yeah,
like there's, I don't know.
The pit board says win or you ain't coming home. Walk your ass home.
It's unfortunate for kids in that situation because like if a kid goes out there and has a bad race, like a kid that's expected to win, and they go out there and have a bad race, do you think that kid is already not feeling down on themselves?
Yeah.
So you telling them that they suck and that blah 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 blah, you really think that's going to help them? They know. They know that was a bad race. They know they didn't get the result that they wanted. That's the time when you need to be like, hey bud, we'll get them next time. Not I spent all this money and mortgaged the house and you go out there and get second.
Yeah.
And I'm not, once again, this is moving past that situation. This is in general.
In general.
Like, dude, at Mid-East, you would think that the damn Mighty Pee-wee PW race in the morning, they were racing for $10,000 in a factory contract, the way that them parents act.
Yeah, and then the kids could outrun the parents.
Dude, it's nuts.
I've seen guys, like these old guys, like even the moms, they're like 280 out there, breathing heavy as shit, and their kids out there racing. They're like, you ain't no good, you can't do this, that, or the other. And it's like, dude, that kid right there would smoke you. I don't care if you're 10 years old or 20.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to tell that? How are you going to tell a person that is way better at you is something that they need to get better?
Yeah.
A little bit of emotional support goes a
Yeah.
long way. I'll tell you a quick story about that before we get back on the silly season. I was at North Carolina at Lost Valley 4 years ago. I was on a Husky 350. I come through. I was in B class. There's a boy right in front of me who was leading. I came in right behind him. Well, coming through scoring, there was one person in between us. And the person leading my class takes off out of the scoring. The second person shuts their bike off when they're getting scanned. And I rev. I said, hey, move. And he's like, hold on, I got to fix my glove. My dad grabs this guy's bike. My dad's right there at the scoring.
Yeah.
Pulls him out and shoves him over. And he's like, get the hell out of my son's way.
Oh my god.
And it wasn't like him being out of pocket, I don't think, because the dude, I was in a race.
Yeah.
The dude shut his bike off and was adjusting gloves and goggles
Yeah.
in the scoring area.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move. It was obviously a single file coming through there. I hit him, and he turned around to me like he was going to get off the bike, and Dad grabbed a hold of him by the forks and the handlebars and rips him out and throws him over. And it's like, get the hell out of his way. And it's like, so I've seen some parents act crazy, and then I've seen my dad act like that, and I'm like, which, fair enough.
Yeah.
He wasn't being out
Heat
of
of the
pocket.
moment.
No, yeah, he's like, get out of the way. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not going to fist fight the guy. I mean, he probably would have, but
Yeah.
he's not going to try to. But I've seen parents do that. I mean, I've seen a bunch of wild shit at motorcycle races, honestly.
Yeah.
I've seen kids come through scoring, throw their bike down, look at their dad. Their dad just smack the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I wonder if you're talking about the situation that I think you're talking about. Because I have seen a parent smack a kid for a result at a race, and it made me want to smack a parent.
yeah. We probably shouldn't talk about that then.
Yeah. So, dude, one of the nastiest fights that I've ever seen, and not physical fight, but like just ruthless crap talking and all sorts of stuff, was this year at a Mid-East race, and it was over a micro quad race. A micro quad race. And it was a whole group of parents that were all mad, and I guess a couple kids in the class. The way that the rules are written is that it has to be a 50, but if it's a stock 70, you can run it. So like Kawasaki, I don't know anything about quads, but one of the quad manufacturers makes a stock 70. You can run that in the 50 class. But what you can't do is put a 70 kit on a 50.
Yeah.
And that became a point of contention. So
Yeah.
it was at the end of the season, and this whole big old deal was made. And, dude, I'm telling you, it was the nastiest, most immature thing I've ever seen in my life. The things they were saying, I lost my cool in this whole thing. It takes a lot for me to lose my cool. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I've
Especially
wrestled.
when it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. I've wrestled my whole life. I'm undefeated in MMA. Like, that was my aspirations. That was what I wanted to do with my life. And then injuries, one thing led to another. Here we are. But it takes a lot for me to lose my cool because of all of that. Because I got nothing to prove in those type of situations. But the way that these people were talking, like, I had to snap on a parent. And it, like, dude, it was like autopilot. Like, didn't mean to do it. Just came out of nowhere. But it was because of everything that was going on and everything that was being said
Yeah.
over some kids. And the worst part about it is it was a little girl that won. And she had been winning. Like, she had been doing good. And basically the whole podium changed. And now you look back on it, and these are a bunch of 7-year-old kids. And you got grown-ass men yelling and screaming and cussing and calling a 7-year-old little girl a cheater. That girl doesn't know how to change a top end. That girl probably doesn't even know what a top end is.
Yeah.
Girl definitely doesn't know what a piston is. Doesn't know that her quad is illegal.
Yeah. Just like any other kid has no idea. They just get on the bike and they go race.
Yeah.
There's no politics with the kid. The kids just race.
But yet you got grown-ass men calling them a cheater and cussing them out and then threatening to fight everybody. And now she doesn't get to go on the podium. She doesn't get an award. Have to explain to her why that happened. Like, they're 7-year-old kids.
So did that girl have a 50 that was a 70 kid on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
The parents knew.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that, but at the same time, the kid didn't do it. You think the girl went in there and put a new cylinder and head on it? No.
But neither here nor there. What I'm getting at is that when your kid is late in life, they're 35, 40 years old, and they're on the verge of divorce, and they're going to therapy, and they got all this stuff. They're telling that therapist and they're telling their wife about the way that dad yelled at them, not the third place plaque. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it bugs me when parents go that in depth.
Yeah.
over some kids racing.
Yeah.
But at the flip side, like I understand you're spending the money, you're spending the time, you're doing the stuff, you're buying the camper, you're going to the races, so you want it to be fair. But don't be an asshole,
Yeah.
and don't be an asshole to your kid.
Yeah.
Your
Kids
kid's
don't
going to
deserve
try as hard as they can, no matter what.
Yeah. I agree completely.
The worst part is when dad is the mechanic and they have a bike malfunction, and then they get mad at the kid for that.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me want to
It's
slap
like you
people.
broke it. Like it's your fault.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Have some humility. Have some respect for your kid. That's all I can say. And I don't have a kid. I got a dog and a dirt bike, but I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can relate to it
I
on
agree.
that
And my,
aspect.
And my dad, like growing up, which I wasn't very good. He didn't. I mean, he'd cheer and stuff. But he wouldn't get mad at me really. I would anything that I did wrong to deserve to get yelled at. It was 100% deserved.
Yeah.
I was a shithead. But back to silly season.
Yeah.
So we're
Anyway,
talking about domestic violence with children.
that was my rant.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sorry about
it. We mentioned Jesse Ansley.
Yep.
Jesse on a Sarasota Power Sports Kawasaki. Holy crap, boys.
941 boys.
Holy crap. Big Jap guy.
I would love to see him have some success.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What if he gets on that bike and shreds, dude? What if he's a
Well,
podium guy?
I mean, he's probably not going to do good at FTRs now because I don't think the new numbers on his new numbers on his number plates, I don't think they're up to code. So FTR, even though they won't pay him any, there's no pro purse down there, they'll still go ahead and fine him or just something crazy like that.
They're only an inch and 7/8, and they need to be 2 inches.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you know, eighth an inch. That's a big deal.
That is a guy that's going to bully his kids when he has kids.
Yeah, yeah,
The guy that protested Jesse, not Jesse.
yeah.
Yeah,
ass.
that is BS. But I meant to text Jesse this morning. I haven't, so maybe he'll be listening to the show. He tried. He's so secretive, and I don't get it. He tries to be so secretive, and I knew that he was going on Cowies. And he said something to me at the Mid-East race. He came and raced the Hickory race, and he was talking to me about something, and I asked him straight up, I was like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, oh, you have to wait and find out. And when I was in Florida, we were going to do a show, and we were going to announce it on the show, and I was going to put it out after he made his announcement, and it just didn't work out for one reason or the other. But when he made that comment at Mid-East, he said something about, I think he made it sound like he was going to race a Honda.
So he said that to me also, and we went to McManus's and rode that race, that track before we raced it a couple weeks before. Just went out there and was doing arrows or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, and he hadn't rode one. I said, have you rode a Honda yet? He goes, no, I ain't rode one. I said, well, McManus has a 24 right there that's, brand new. He'd let you take a spin on it. He goes, nah, I don't need to ride that one. And I was like, you lied. You ain't getting a Honda.
Yeah. So he made a comment to me like that, and I said, Honda? He said, oh, no, maybe. And I said, Honda don't make any green bikes. And kind of looked at him, and you can see him, I think Taylor was saying there too, like both of their faces were like, how you know that? But he still wouldn't say, even after I said that, he still wouldn't tell me. So
I tried to pry it out. I was like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, oh, no,
I forgot how I found it out, but yeah, I knew.
I'd found that out whenever he posted. I had no idea. I didn't think that's what he would. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with him. I just didn't think that he was going to be on Cowie for some reason. I just did not think. I thought he was going to buy his own gas cast or something, or I figured he was going to stay on Austrian, but
Yeah.
nobody likes Air Forks, I guess.
I heard Cowie, and then when I made that comment and saw his face, that was like, all right, confirmation. But I don't even think I mentioned that in the silly season thing. But when I saw his video come out last night about it, the YouTube video.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I just seen the short he put on the reel.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. But I will say it was posted 3 hours. When I saw it last night, it was 3 hours after it was posted, and already had 2,500 views, which is cool.
Dude, he buys that brand new bike, takes the picture of him and his grandpa and Taylor, and then the next picture you see, it is destroyed.
Yeah,
Because he goes and races a muddy ass FTR.
yeah,
And it just looks like Mud Mucker 2012. It's just destroyed.
yeah.
And it's like, holy crap.
But yeah, I don't know. That's cool. I
do hope he has a lot more success. I think a change is always good.
Yeah.
And dude, he's so fast. It's just GNCCs. I mean, it's just different. I mean, he has an XC3 championship, 200-day championship, fastest shit on a Super Mini. It's just
two Super Mini championships, right? Overalls.
I know of one. I didn't know two. I didn't really know him until he got the second one. Because Connor Smith hated them.
But no, I mean, I've been very public on here. Like, I'm a big fan of what Jesse's doing, and
Yeah.
like him building up his brand and building up the YouTube stuff. Like, I think he's doing things the right way. So I would love to see him switch over that bike, get comfy on it, and see the success he's been looking for. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, we went. He's a super good dude.
Yeah,
He's cool.
Not necessarily GNCC, but Will Reardon, first ever
Home dog.
factory gas Hardenduro rider.
Hell yeah, and he's
I
got
think
an
that's pretty
accent. That's badass.
Yep, and he can ride giant culverts.
I seen that. There's like 14 of them in a row.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
I was like, dude, he's gonna fall over for sure.
Trail Jesters officially made their announcement that they're shutting the doors, which sucks. Ross did a lot for a lot of riders.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're still a sponsor
Still
of
supporting.
the Landers
Yeah.
team. So that was one thing that we kind of talked about is the Magna 1 team dissolving and turning into now it's like a full factory thing. I didn't realize it
Landers
was going to be
Racing.
that. Yeah. So factory KTM 250s is Landers Racing, which is Chris Landers, the owner of Magna 1.
Yeah.
And before that, it was this is
Coastal.
This is no.
It was Coastal, wasn't it?
No, he has his third team now. Keep on to say KR4, but that wasn't. That was the Keegans. What was it before Magna 1? Land Mills.
Land Mills.
He was the land in Land Mills, Landers. And then they went to Magna 1 because he bought that oil company. That dude owns 87 companies. But so now Landers Racing, KTM, with Grant Davis and Gus Reardon.
Homies.
Dude, potential to have a lot of success coming out of that little two-man team.
Yeah. I think Grant will be super fast this year. Gus already is fast as shit.
Yeah.
He is annoyingly fast. Like, if you watch him, it's like, how do you hold on to that thing with your little spaghetti arms? He's just wide, slap open everywhere he goes.
So fast.
Dude, he had a video at one of the U.S. sprints he rode this year. It was kind of like an off-camera section. And there was like a video. I don't know if he put it on. He got tagged on it, but it was on his page. There was like Johnny G came through, Toth came through, Gus came through there, and I don't know how the bike stayed upright, just tacked out in fifth gear, and I was like, dude, that kid is a freaking menace.
Yeah. Well, it's the first night I ever met them, and I told this story before on here, so I'll keep it brief. But the first night I ever met them, I think it was like 4th of July or something.
No, I think we were at the brewery.
Yeah, we were at Lake Norman Brewery.
Yeah.
But it was like a holiday or something. But they were here, and so I was just kind of talking to them and like just talking shit. And like, oh, look at this little young fella. Like, where are you racing, little guy? And he's like, yeah, I'll probably race the pro class. I was like, oh, damn, pro class, so you're pretty fast? He's like, I'm all right. And then he goes out the
He
next
was
day.
16 then.
Yeah, yeah, like fresh 16.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that in the first cross test, he was the fastest person of any test. And I like grabbed him. I was like, dude, what is this? Like, I didn't know you were like fast.
Yeah. We went and rode at Drew Calloway's like a week after they came here, and everything was like just blowed out. And I was like, what the heck happened here? They're like, dude, those freaking Australians came over here. Him and Gus and Will. And Tyler was in 258 at the time, I think, or he had just won the 8 Lights Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, they freaking smoked me. He's like, they're way faster than us. And Drew Calloway obviously is super fast too. And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, they blew our freaking doors off.
Dang.
And I was like, well, that's not good. Here come the foreigners.
Yeah.
Smoking everybody's ass again.
And then finished higher in the overall than the XC2 champion. Still blows my mind.
Yeah.
That's going to be a battle next year. And then Rui will be back. Rui had some. Speaking of Rui, what were you going to say?
Captain. No, I was just going to say, yeah, I agree with you.
There is one thing that I did want to point out. So that Honda team, you got Mike moving up to XC1.
Yeah.
Cody Barnes had a good year this year. A lot of podiums this year for Cody Barnes. Rui Barbosa had a couple wins and then tore his Achilles. So I hope that he can come back from that because it was cool to see Rui have some success. But then that battle next year, you got Liam Draper. You got Angus Reardon. We'll see what Grant Davis is able to do. You got Rui coming back. You got Cody Barnes. Like, might even have some people dropping back from what I hear.
Yeah, who's that?
I've heard a couple people.
I've heard of possibly one or two.
Which if they, yeah. I don't know how much of this I should get into.
None of it. None of it, probably.
I mean, I mentioned it in the last show, so it's not really that big of a deal. But there has been rumors of tenured XC1 guys moving back to XC2 next year. Because of the rules, you're allowed to do that, the way that the rules are written. So hopefully this points that out, and we'll see some of that stuff change. But, I mean, definitely guys that have won overalls that could be moving back to XC2.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everything works. That's one of the things I don't want to mention because nothing's out. I don't think.
I have a reason I can't mention it from my side, and you have a reason you can't mention it from your side.
Yeah,
But there is the possibility
we'll just keep it.
of tenured XC1 guys racing XC2, so they will be in that XC2 battle as well. But one thing, when I wonder if this is ever going to come up, I wonder if this is going to be a quiet rule change that no one sees. I wonder if it's going to be a blatant disregard for a rule. But the GNCC Pro rules in rule number 3 says pro row parking is reserved for the previous year's top 10 overall racers and will be assigned by GNCC.
Phoenix Honda.
Other racers associated with a top 10 team may pit from pro row only upon approval from GNCC. What is going to happen when the Phoenix Honda rig shows up at round number 1 at Big Buck and they have 3 riders and not one of them are in the top 10? Is there going to be a spot on pro row for them? Will the semi have to park somewhere else?
I mean, if they had to park somewhere else, they would go to. Well, what about the quad? They have a Phoenix. Phoenix has a quad racer, right?
I think so.
So
Isn't Bryson Neal with Phoenix?
I don't know who it is, but
I'm pretty sure it's Bryson Neal,
I mean,
who was like
maybe they'll
the
just
champion.
park. Maybe they'll just park that rig and don't move it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is it does change between Saturday and Sunday for the quad people. But it's just one of those things, like, if you look at who can compete in XC1, it says upon promoter discretion. And this goes back to, like, the whole buckwheat thing that happened a couple years ago. Like, the rules are the rules. Like, this very clearly says pro row parking is reserved for previous year's top 10 overalls racers and will be assigned by GNCC. It does not say anywhere in there, but promoter discretion may be able to change this. So it's like one of those things where, like, I don't expect them to take the Phoenix rig,
They won't.
the semi, off of pro row, but at the same time,
could.
their rule very clearly states that that rig should not be on pro row.
Yeah.
So then it goes back to this thing is like, we follow some rules, we don't follow some rules,
That's
we
what I was
operate in the
gonna
gray
say.
areas on some. It's just, it goes back to the consistency thing that all came about with how we handle penalties.
Yeah.
And even this year, with how penalties were handled, like the loop out penalties, they were handled completely differently.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
what
that
the
was so
money,
messed up.
I don't know. It's just one of those things that like got brought to my attention.
Needs to be a union.
Needs to be something.
Needs to be something. But I don't know. It's a great environment to be in, but I don't. Not that I was ever gonna have success in it, much success, but I don't. It kind of is like a burnout thing going to GNCCs for me now.
Yeah.
Like I like all the people there. Like it's cool seeing my buddies. But it's just like, man, it's not like I haven't been to Big Buck 17 times before. You know, where's a good place to watch? Well, the freaking hill. You know, that's where you're gonna go.
Mm-hmm. And then this year, there's new rounds, but they're old rounds. They're places we've already been.
Limestone?
No.
Love Limestone.
There is a brand new track this year.
What?
Speaking of Chris
What state?
Landers, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Really?
Mhm.
Shoo.
So
What-
there
what
will be a
city?
brand new property in Tennessee, on the Landers property, Jordan Ashburn's backyard.
Oh.
And then I believe it's going back to Powerline Park.
Not real excited about that one.
Back to the mud pit of doom.
Yeah, not excited about that one, really. I never liked Powerline Park. And
I
it's
think I've
not
only
like
been
it
there
healed.
once.
They've raced on it 4 times a year since then.
Yeah, local
Hey,
race
works.
there.
So it's going to be beat like it's going to look like an ex-girlfriend, man. Just beat like a freaking drum.
But you also got to think, as big as GNCC has gotten, it's got to be tough to find new properties. Like
It is.
I understand that. I think everyone understands that. But I don't know. It's just a weird state that it's in right now. But
There
the
was-
rules thing, the rules is the rules.
Not really, but yeah. There was something else you mentioned
What
that
if
we were going to...
What if someone? What if like Rui or Cody comes out and wins, and then someone in second place protests them because they pitted on pro row when the rules clearly state that they can't pit on pro row because they're not in the top 10.
Didn't you say it's discretion of the promoter?
No, I said that it doesn't. Say
Oh, I thought you said discretion of the
that.
promoter.
No, this one is fact of the matter. It does not say. I said the people that are eligible for XC1, it says you have to finish in the top 50 or to promoter discretion. So, like, if they did something like that with that rule about parking on pro row, that'd be one thing, but it's not. It very clearly states it is reserved for the previous year's top 10 overall racers and no one else.
Cody wasn't top 10?
No. Liam Draper, the XC2 champion, was top 10, was 10th.
So they don't have an XC1 guy that should have been top 10 in parentheses.
Yeah, their XC1 guy is Mike Wachowski,
Now.
who obviously didn't beat the XC2 champion in XC2. But second place in XC2 did. He's ninth place.
I guess we'll find out. That's a good question. You ought to call your good buddy Tim and see what he says.
I tried to call Tim. He won't call me back. What else we got? EnduroCross wrapped up. Tristan Hart was able to get that championship. Johnny Walker had a strong start, came out swinging, won the first 2 rounds. And then I got it pulled up right here. So he won the first 2 rounds, Johnny Walker did, and then he got second. That third round, when Johnny got second, was Tristan's first win, where then he won the next round, second the following round, and first the final round to win the overall championship. Dude, that thing came and went. The beginning of the season.
I didn't even know any of them. I didn't even know, like, because usually I try to watch them because of Will.
Yeah, I didn't see any advertising.
I didn't see anything.
No. I didn't know that it was happening. No. I saw Johnny Walker win the first 2 rounds. I was like, is this in Europe? Like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, no, this is EnduroCross. But, yeah, so first race, October 7th. Last race, November 18th.
That's bullshit.
The entire season done in a month.
Was there what are they called overseas? Super Enduro?
Yeah, that's going on right now.
So, yeah, I seen a video of Johnny and Billy over there. And I was like, I thought they were still going on over here. And I was like, there's no way Billy was over here racing.
Yeah, no, that's going on right now over there. So, yeah, Tristan Hart take the win. Johnny Walker would end up in second place, the defending champ from last year. Colton Haker would end up in third. Cody Webb fourth. Ryder LeBlond fifth place for the year. And also, big shout out to Rachel Goodish. Rachel Goodish won that championship. She won the Hard Enduro championship. Rachel's gnarly.
Yes, she's good.
We've talked about her on the show and stuff before too, but just looking at her post she made last night, she raced 36 national level races, had 33 podiums, and this is all just this year, so 33 podiums out of 36 starts. EnduroCross champion, ISDE champion. She was on the Women's World Trophy team. Second place in National Enduro, second place in U.S. Sprint Enduro, and third place at GNCC. And doesn't have a ride for next year.
Shit's so whack.
That's crazy.
She was riding a bone cutter, gas for a while, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think this year.
I wonder if she's going to try to, if that's not continued, I guess.
Her post just says, still not sure what 2024 has in store for me yet, but you guys will know as soon as I do. So that sounds like a genuine IDK.
I got a 350 she can borrow.
But, I mean, dude, that's pretty gnarly. When you look at
No, it is. Yeah, I seen that
the
post
variety
not too long ago.
of stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane.
And she's super, dude. There's a couple times she came in on Rachel's ass at GNCC's, too. I mean, she's fast.
Well, there was that one race where, like, Rachel fell at the finish line. Rachel Archer fell at the finish line. Rachel Goodish jumped over Rachel Archer's bike and got to Ricky first. But then they went back and said that Rachel fell at the scoring loop and that the loop is the line and Ricky's not the line. So, like, that was a race that Rachel Goodish optically won.
Yeah.
But then they come back and say that Rachel scanned first. Rachel Archer scanned
You
first.
do scan a couple feet before the arch.
Yeah. But Ricky stands past the arch.
You know, I say that, but I thought, like, if you come up to the scoring, so if you come into a GNCC Did you make 2 laps at Ironman?
No.
You know where the board's at?
Yeah.
Is the board coming into scoring or is it coming out?
I think it's usually coming out. It wouldn't.
Because if I
wouldn't
come
have
in right
anything-
behind somebody, it's like kind of like a delay.
Mm.
So I always actually thought, I know I just said that, but I'm taking it back now. I always thought it was closer to Ricky or past Ricky, like if you're coming into the turn for the actual scanning, because the position is delayed coming on the screen.
Yeah. So the metal arch and like the PVC pipes on it, that is the scoring loop.
Huh.
And then Ricky
Kind of robbed on that one.
is usually standing back from it. At least he was at that race.
Kinda
I think a lot
robbed
of
on
times
that
he
one.
stands on it, but
Hmm.
yeah.
It's sick.
Carolina XC. Let's talk about that real quick.
Mikey D went 1-1 this weekend. 1-1-1-1, I think.
Yep. Shout out Zach Tussle. Zach Tussle raced the first round in the Open A class.
Yeah? You win?
How do you think he did?
I think, no. Well, Coffee won the first moto, and then his clutches went out. So I'm going to guess Tussle won.
He won it.
Hell yeah.
Zachary Tussle, who brings to you part of this show. At Raymond James Financial, Zach is a racer and a financial advisor that helps his clients win when it comes to retirement, financial planning, and Carolina XC racing.
Hell yeah.
If you or someone you know wants to invest for a future, is already retired, and needs advice for retirement, Zach Tussle is always my first recommendation. You can look for him on the socials. Search for Zach Tussle. They got a baby on the way, I think, bone in the oven.
Hell yeah.
Financial Advisors, DenverNC.com. Let them know you're a listener of OTP. Get a free consultation. Let them know exactly what you can do. But when I always say that he's a racer and a financial advisor, I think people take that for granted, and they think that I'm kidding. No, he went out and he won Open A this past weekend.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But he won it. He is a racer. He's a real racer. He's just like you and I, and he can help you with your financial future. Hit up Zach Tussle.
He takes care of my financials. He can take care of yours.
Exactly. And several other pro riders.
Yep.
And show hosts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, back to the pro class. Mike DeLosa has won the last 2. So he won the doubleheader on December 2nd and 3rd. Went 1-1 on Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday. Mike DeLosa would take those wins. But in the first round, the opening round,
Nick DeFeo, correct?
I don't know.
I think Nick won.
But I don't even see Nick in the results.
Why they call him T-Rex? He ain't got short arms.
You know, I've often wondered that. So I'm looking at the results right now, and there's not even anyone accredited with the win at round 1. But I know that Nick DeFeo was there, so I guess it had to have been
I'm
Nick
pretty
DeFeo.
sure Nick won.
So, Nick DeFeo won the first round. Mike DeLosa won rounds 2 and 3. And is your current points leader, followed by Jacob Lauder and Christian Scott. And Jason Gilliland, the Woodchuck. TJ Brown, been ripping.
That dude rips.
But racing B class. Why is he racing B class?
He's like 14 or 15.
I think he's 15. But I thought he would have went straight to A class.
But I mean, he's going to go to GNCCs and run B class.
Huh.
I'm assuming.
Did he win the C class GNCC championship?
Yeah.
He won every single morning race at Mid-East except for one. Other than that, you got anything else? Shout out Corey Steed. Sounded
Big
like
Husqvarna girl.
sounded like she was doing something with Rockstar and Husky. Did not know she was gonna be full factory Rockstar Husky. That's pretty
Hell
cool.
yeah. That's cool. Brandy Richards coming over.
Oh,
Richardson.
yeah. Didn't know that. That is one thing. So I don't think any stuff I've said has been wrong, but I did not know that Brandy
Yeah.
Richards was racing WXC this year.
I knew about it. I just hadn't heard. I only heard it from one source, so I was like, I don't know. Not that I've been in the loop much, but
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that at all.
yeah.
I
So,
know last year she came and raced like 4 or 5.
Sure, yeah, sure, it's a couple.
How you think? So, before I ask you this next question, I have heard, allegedly, through sources, that there's going to be another very fast woman joining us this year for WXC racing.
I mean, are you wanting to have this conversation, or you want to get high off that Sharpie?
It's an expo marker.
Oh, I bet it's still with the job
Thanks a
done.
lot.
I bet someone would try it. Are you gonna unveil or are you gonna say it?
I have heard, per sources, allegedly, maybe, that Jordan Jarvis might be on a Ampro Yamaha racing the WXC class.
Yeah. Where does that put Rachel Archer?
I don't think that Rachel Archer will be on an Ampro Yamaha racing the WXC class.
Damn, Randy went fishing and got himself another one.
But
Let's
see, that's
go.
what. So Jordan Jarvis got selected for the ISDE team a couple years ago. She ended up not racing the ISDE, but she did come out and race some sprint enduros where she did not do well, even in the cross test. Like, I thought she would at least do really well in the cross test. But that is also one of those things that, just like we were talking about earlier, it takes a lot to develop. And Jordan Jarvis is one of the fastest girls on the planet when it comes to moto, and she was trying to qualify for Supercross main events and the whole 9 yards. So I think if she came in and did specified training, and she's got a good system down there, training with the XC2 champ, training with Ricky Russell, I mean, she certainly can develop. She obviously has the speed.
Yeah.
So to hone that into GNCC, I think we could see her become a force to be reckoned with. But I also saw a press release where her dad got WMX back. I think WMX is going to exist again this year. Jordan Jarvis was the last WMX champ. I think she won back-to-back WMX championships. So why would this year of all years be the year that she comes and races Woods full-time?
I don't know, something different. I mean, I don't know how old she is, but I mean, she's probably
23, 24?
Well, I've heard about her for a while, so I didn't know how old she was. But I mean, something different. I mean, she's been riding moto every year. It's all she's been training. I mean, that's just like some guys in off road, just like Cole Forbes. Just always been doing is racing woods. It's good, change it up, go race some moto.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame her. Something different.
But if WMX is coming back,
She might be making more money riding for Ampro than what she was doing her own stuff.
yeah. And she's always rode Yamahas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what women. I think the women Ampro or the WXC girls. I mean, they don't make a killing, but I mean, I don't know of any sport for women racing because the biggest nationals women have had are Loretta's, ain't they?
I would argue
Like since WMX was gone.
Yeah.
It was just Loretta's
And Minios.
and Minios. Yeah, I mean, how you make money off doing that? 3 nationals a year.
Endorsements. Which
You could still have for Woods. I mean, if you got a good relationship with your sponsors and your endorsements, I mean, what's the difference between changing over to Woods?
Yeah. It also goes back to show that social media plays a huge presence because without that, you really got nothing. And if you need somebody to help you gain social media presence, you can hire me. I'm officially managing a couple different riders' social medias to grow their online presence because it is so important in this world where you're getting paid by your reach and your following and social media stuff. So if you would like help with your social media, shoot me a message. We'll get it going. But anyway, so back to your point about the money thing. I believe that there might be a girl in WXC next year that's going to make more money than 90% of the men racing.
Did we just talk about her?
Allegedly. We've mentioned her several times.
Okay.
And it's because of the way that bonus structures and stuff are set up. If someone has a certain deal and they go win all the races they show up to, they're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So
that's cool.
Speaking of social media management. Anyway, anything else?
No. Straight.
I think we went through everything on my notes. It's a good little episode. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being too cold to ride.
Yeah, you trying to go get some Taco Bell or something?
Do something. There's a really good Asian spot.
Yeah, maybe not Taco Bell.
There's some Chinese food down the street. $4.99 for a lunch special. Dude, you get so much food for $5. No. Well, so it's a weekly special. It's one thing, so you can't choose. This week,
I mean, I'm not gonna take a bite of a freaking catfish if that's what they got down there.
Well, so
no sushi is.
In my previous experiences, they call it some type of chicken every week, and it's been the same damn chicken every week.
What's it look like?
This week it's sriracha chicken.
Does it meow?
Most of the time not, but no, it's just it's good, but it's an option. There's also a restaurant right next door. I'm not going to mention them. They make me mad.
Okay.
But anyway,
Let's just go spend our hard-earned money over there.
be a friend, tell a friend, let everybody know about On the Pipe podcast if you enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Craig, for coming out and chatting with us. Thank you all for listening. Be on the lookout for some announcements. There are going to be some announcements. I'm going to be gone next week. Unless I can record a show between now and next week, there probably won't be a show next week. I'm sorry. I don't think I'll have internet service. After that, be on the lookout for announcements. That week before Christmas all the way up into the new year, we got some stuff coming. We got some stuff in the pipeline. We're going to let you know about it. So stay on the hook, and we'll see you then. Be a friend, tell a friend. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Bye.